don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.
Let me introduce you to the Brooklyn hipster who somehow managed to tick off just about every gamer on the internet. Once a senior editor at Kotaku, until, she got kicked out, Alyssa became infamous for her hard-hitting and often controversial takes on gaming culture.
I am smart, hot, slutty, good at my job.
She wasn't just any journalist, though. She was the type of person who could turn even the most innocent gaming story into a full-blown drama. A mix of far-left activism, clickbait journalism, and a talent for inserting herself into every gaming controversy, she was the go-to person when you needed a headline guaranteed to stir the pot.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me, bitch.
Now, before you think she's just another woke journalist, let me fill you in on some background. In an interview with a notable fan, or some might say a simp, confirmed that her past wasn't exactly as squeaky clean as some might hope.
So some people were like obsessing over it, and then that's when it kind of spun out that people were saying I was a former stripper and all these like horrific things that had been getting spread.
Hey, I got no problem with that. Who cares?
In fact, she admitted to having a history as a sex worker, a detail that has added to her divisive reputation. Whether you see it as empowering or controversial, she's never shied away from discussing her past.
And they're like, I want to fucking jerk off to her, but I also want to kill her. Yep. Like, they literally don't know what to do.
It is just hating women.
Something that's often been a focal point in her personal and professional narrative.
It's more that
what is wrong with these fuckers? Why can't you be a stripper? Why can't you be a sex worker?
I think it's just, again, the demonization of sex work is a huge issue.
It is.
I know horrible. Sex workers. I'm friends with sex workers.
Yep.
As people know.
I've gone to sex workers.
I've gone to strip clubs. I've gone to plenty of strip clubs. I've thrown bands at strip clubs. I am a huge proponent of that. I also believe that, like, as a woman, men are making money off of you anyway, or they're trying to look for ways to gawk at you anyway. And if you feel comfortable doing this, then do it. The issue that I had and have is that what I did, because I did briefly do cam work, just like digitally stripping.
And no, she didn't stop there. Her journey from that world to Kotaku was like something straight out of a reality TV show, with more twists than a soap opera. But how did this ex-sex worker turned journalist, with a history of personal and professional drama, become the queen of gamer disdain?
What I did, because I did briefly do cam work, just like digitally stripping. What I did, because I did briefly do cam work, just like digitally stripping.
Alyssa Mercante's rise to fame, and probably her biggest controversy to date, came with her article on Sweet Baby Inc. Now let me set the stage for you. Sweet Baby Inc. is a relatively small consulting team of writers and narrative designers. On their website, they describe their mission as telling better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. Sounds harmless, right? Well, not everyone saw it that way. The controversy began when gamers started digging into the company's employees, their old tweets and videos. What they uncovered raised eyebrows. A growing number of people began theorizing that Sweet Baby Inc. wasn't just a typical consulting firm helping with narrative design. Instead, they suspected it was more of a woke DEI company, essentially a group pushing political ideologies into games. From accusations of race-swapping characters purely for diversity points to injecting unnecessary political messages into narratives, Sweet Baby Inc. became a lightning rod for criticism. Now here's where Alyssa enters the picture. She wrote an article on Sweet Baby Inc. and the surrounding drama that immediately set off alarm bells for many readers. Her take wasn't exactly impartial. To some, it felt like she was downplaying the valid concerns of gamers, and instead framing the criticism as another example of toxic gamer culture. Alyssa's article came off as more of a defense for Sweet Baby Inc., portraying them as innocent creatives being unfairly attacked, while dismissing the outrage as unfounded and rooted in bigotry. Here's the funny part. Before Alyssa's article, Sweet Baby Inc. wasn't even a big deal. Most people hadn't even heard of the company. But thanks to the effort to sweep the story under the rug, or censor it as some claimed, the controversy only grew. The more people tried to dismiss or hide the discussion, the bigger it got.
By day, I am the crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever played.
Industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
What could have been a minor scandal turned into a full-blown industry-wide debate about the influence of DEI initiatives in gaming, all because people started connecting the dots between Sweet Baby Inc.'s work and broader trends in the industry. Alyssa's decision to write about it, and her tone in doing so, was like pouring gasoline on the fire.
There's plenty of games out there for you to buy. If you don't like this, don't buy.
It turned her into a focal point for the frustration that had been building in the gaming community for years. Another aspect of Alyssa Mercante's career that has raised eyebrows is her apparent admiration for activist and streamer Hassan Piker. Now, for those unfamiliar, Hassan is a controversial figure, known for his divisive political commentary and his tendency to push certain ideological narratives. While this has little to do with video games, Alyssa's open support for him became a point of contention during her time at Kotaku.
And diving into just a quick web search of Kotaku and Hassan, you'll see a bunch of articles that they've wrote praising him and putting him in the highest place possible as far as how good of a Twitch streamer this guy is and how awesome he is in the public's eye and how people misunderstand.
She didn't just casually agree with Hassan's views. She actively simped for him on Twitter, showering him with praise and defending him whenever he faced criticism. But it didn't stop there. Alyssa was so captivated by Hassan and his agenda that she appeared to bring his ideas into her work, forcefully aligning them with the gaming industry. She used her platform at Kotaku not only to defend him, but also to push similar narratives into gaming discourse, regardless of whether it had any real relevance to the games themselves.
At the end of the day, all these people do is parrot an ideology to get money and then buy shit for themselves. It's like the ultimate grift to make you feel like they're one of you.
For many in the gaming community, this wasn't just a case of bad journalism, it was blatant propaganda. By aligning with someone like Hassan Piker, who has a reputation for spreading controversial takes and political ideologies, Alyssa alienated an even larger portion of gamers. Instead of reporting on games, she seemed more interested in using her position to amplify Hassan's voice and push his worldview onto the industry. This level of activism left many wondering, was Alyssa ever truly interested in video games, or was she simply using them as a vehicle to advance her political agenda? For gamers who just want to enjoy their favorite titles without being lectured about ideologies or agendas, her actions were another reason to tune out and reject this style of journalism.
And then we got Alyssa in her own article that she wrote on Kotaku, and I gotta read this entire excerpt for you because it is just so perfect. Hassan Piker is many things. He's a hardcore himbo, an amateur gamer, and frequent heated moment haver. He speaks to legions of young men, women, and NBs on the internet almost every day via his wildly popular Twitch channel and feeds their parasocial bond via his other social media accounts. Even though he spends most of his time on Twitch reacting to political clips, yelling at his chat, and eating, he's currently the number 10 most watched streamer on the platform. That's because, and here we go, Hassan is the perfect mix of intelligence, sexiness, and broness, through which he effortlessly courts legions of lovers and haters. And Alyssa, I think we know which group you fall under. The simping going on here is palpable.
Because they're all sitting there with their fucking dicks at half chub, ready to fucking go.
This time, she decided to launch a full-blown smear campaign against none other than Melanie Mack, a well-known Christian gaming personality. So what happened? Well, Alyssa, because she apparently doesn't have enough real journalism to do.
I am their kryptonite.
Yes.
I am smart, hot, slutty, good at my job.
Decided she wanted to dig up dirt on Melanie. Instead of reaching out professionally like a real journalist, she publicly posted on Twitter, saying, if anyone has any connections to a prominent female Twitch streamer gaming personality who leans very hard into Christianity and homophobia, DM me or email me at link in bio. She didn't even name Melanie Mack outright. Instead, she put out a public call for people to send her dirt, effectively begging for gossip and negativity to fuel whatever hit piece she had in mind. This is the kind of stuff you'd expect from a Twitter drama channel, not a so-called professional journalist.
He's a shill for me. Did you know that? He simps for me. He simps for me. He's simping for me right now.
All right.
But here's where it gets better, because Melanie Mack saw the tweet and called her out instantly. You know, you could always just talk to me if you want. But it looks like you'd rather find people who don't like me to help you formulate some hate and lies to fit a narrative you've inevitably made up in your head for your witch hunt. And that's when Alyssa, realizing she got caught red-handed, panicked and tried to backtrack. Responding, I would love a chance to talk to you. My email is in my bio if you want to reach out. I planned on sending one your way early next week, as it's EOD for me. Thanks. Totally normal journalistic practice to go on Twitter and ask random people for dirt before contacting the subject of your story. Melanie wasn't buying it, and neither was anyone else. She fired back with, judging by your tweet and lack of tagging me in it, your intentions appear to be in bad faith, but I sent an email, happy to chat. At this point, Alyssa had completely lost control of the narrative. Instead of successfully smearing Melanie Mack, she made herself look like a vindictive activist masquerading as a journalist. And worse, she opened up her employer, Kotaku, to potential legal trouble.
I am their kryptonite.
Yes.
I am smart, hot, slutty, good at my job.
Even gaming industry veteran Mark Kern weighed in on the situation, warning Kotaku and Geo Media that they were setting themselves up for lawsuits by allowing this kind of behavior. And honestly, he's right. When you start running hit pieces on people based on public Twitter gossip hunts, you're just begging for legal trouble.
And I don't shut the fuck up.
Yep.
So, what was the result of Alyssa's attempted takedown? Absolutely nothing. No big scandal, no expose, just a whole lot of people realizing once again that Kotaku was a joke. At this point, we already know Alyssa loves to stir up controversy, but did you know she also tried to blacklist a veteran game developer from the entire gaming industry? Yeah, she went after Mark Kern, a former World of Warcraft team lead and longtime industry veteran. And why? Because he dared to expose some pretty insane takes from Liana Ruppert, a former Destiny 2 community manager and current community manager for Prime Video's upcoming Fallout series. So, what exactly did Kern do? He shared screenshots of Ruppert claiming that non-white people can't be racist against white people. You know, the usual Twitter activist nonsense, where racism is somehow excusable as long as it's aimed in the right direction. Ruppert was defending Star Wars host Christina Ariel, who had made several anti-white posts back in 2021. When people called out her hypocrisy, Ruppert doubled down, saying, fundamentally, POC can't be racist against white people. They can have bias, but racism is systematic, and in the US, the system benefits the white community and has been since we established ourselves at the start of our country's history. Mark Kern simply highlighted this nonsense, and that's when Alyssa lost it. Rather than engaging in any kind of actual discussion, she and her fellow activists at DEI consultancy, Nesaga, called for Kern to be blacklisted from the entire gaming industry. No debate, no discussion, just cancel him. This is classic Alyssa behavior. If you don't agree with her worldview, you don't deserve to have a career. Forget your contributions to gaming. Forget your years of experience. If you step out of line, you're done.
And I don't shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Of course, the backlash was swift, and once again, Alyssa's attempt at cancelling someone blew up in her face. It only made people more aware of how activists like her operate, not through actual discourse, but through bullying and blacklisting. At this point, it's a recurring pattern with Alyssa. She creates drama, gets caught lying, and then plays the victim when people push back. But don't worry, her biggest failure was still to come.
And I don't shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Of course, Alyssa couldn't resist hating on a game people actually enjoy, and this time, her target was Stellar Blade. Like clockwork, she attacked the game and its players, calling it a pervert's delight and mocking anyone who dared to defend it. Apparently, if you like Stellar Blade, you're a bad person, at least in Alyssa's world. And when people pushed back, she played the victim. Again, complained about harassment, as if gamers just magically started calling her out for no reason. At this point, it's clear. Alyssa hates gamers, hates fun, and hates anything that doesn't push her narrative. But this wasn't even her biggest meltdown. Oh no, there's more. Now, if you thought Alyssa's takes were bad before, let me introduce you to one of the weirdest, most unnecessary gaming controversies she helped blow out of proportion. The Farm Folks drama. It all started when the Twitter account for Farm Folks, a small indie farming game, made a light-hearted joke about breast physics. That's right, one harmless boob joke was all it took to set off a ridiculous chain of events. Some people got offended as they do, and soon the backlash started rolling in. This led to Farm Folks issuing a grovelling apology on Twitter, as if they had just committed some unspeakable crime instead of, making a joke. Enter Alyssa Mercante, always ready to turn a molehill into a mountain. She swooped in with a sensationalist clickbait Kotaku article that took the controversy and cranked it up to 11. But she didn't just report on the backlash, she straight up lied and claimed that the Farm Folks CEO had implied that all gamers were incels. Now, if there's one thing gamers don't like, it's being misrepresented. And the actual CEO of Farm Folks wasn't about to let that slide. The CEO called Alyssa out directly on Twitter, exposing her for pushing a false narrative and using their game as a tool to stir up even more outrage. And if that wasn't satisfying enough, he fired back with the perfect response. You've been using me as a tool against your nemesis. You misrepresented a few of my points. Oof. That's what we call a reality check. But of course, Alyssa wasn't done. She kept running with the story, using the entire controversy to push her usual narrative that gamers are just a bunch of racist, sexist incels. Because, in Alyssa's world, liking video games is basically a hate crime. Funny, considering she was still pretending to be a video game journalist at the time. This whole debacle just proved what many gamers already suspected. Alyssa doesn't actually care about games. She cares about finding a new way to dunk on gamers and turn every minor incident into an ideological battlefield. So as if the Farm Folks drama wasn't already messy enough, YouTuber Smash JT decided to cover the entire situation on his channel. And surprise, Alyssa Mercante didn't handle it well. In fact, she took it so poorly that she ran straight to Twitter, crying about how people were trying to kill her. Instead of just ignoring the criticism or, maybe defending her article with facts, Alyssa went full psycho mode. And by that I mean she stalked Smash JT on Facebook. Instead of responding professionally like a so-called journalist, Alyssa decided to track him down on social media. But wait, it gets even weirder. She actually reached out to Smash JT's wife and sent her messages.
Alyssa Mercante has reached out to my wife on her private social media account, searched her out, which, to me, this is insanity. Someone who works at Kotaku, who has their name on their Twitter account, is proactively contacting my wife. That I was just shaking in fear.
Wife is like, honey, please come to bed. They're like, not now.
It's gonna be like,
someone's tangentially mentioned me, sort of, kind of.
And naturally, this whole debacle pissed off Smash JT so much that he didn't just clap back, he declared war. In response to Alyssa's antics, Smash JT launched the hashtag #EndKotaku on Twitter, a rallying cry for gamers to call out the publication's clickbait-driven nonsense. But he didn't stop there. Oh no, Smash JT took things to another level by creating Kotaku Detected, a brand new Twitter page dedicated entirely to exposing the people associated with Kotaku. It wasn't just a simple reaction, it was a full-on warpath. Smash JT wasn't just fighting back, he was on a mission to burn down the entire brand Alyssa was representing. And, honestly, can you blame him? When someone comes for your family over a video game controversy, you don't just shrug it off. The backlash against Alyssa and Kotaku gained serious traction, with more and more gamers joining the fight. The message was clear. Enough was enough. Kotaku had already been losing credibility with its endless hot takes and divisive articles, and this incident was the final straw for many. This entire situation became a defining moment in the long-standing battle between gamers and the gaming media.
They're talking about me! They're talking about me!
With Alyssa Mercante standing as the perfect example of the kind of journalist the gaming community loves to hate. Alyssa Mercante's vendetta against gamers and industry veterans didn't stop at just writing hit pieces.
And I don't shut the fuck up.
Yep.
She went after Mark Kern, the former World of Warcraft team lead, simply because he pushed back against corporate agendas in gaming. Kern has been vocal about industry corruption, corporate pandering, and forced DEI narratives, which made him an easy target for Mercante. She went on a tirade against him on social media, making it clear that she viewed any resistance to gaming corporations as some kind of extremist behavior. Her disdain for gamers was on full display as she mocked those who spoke out against industry manipulation, painting them as conspiracy theorists or bad faith actors. Instead of engaging with Kern's points, she resorted to insults, dismissals, and attempts to discredit him.
Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.
Further proving that her goal wasn't journalistic integrity, it was defending corporations and silencing dissent. After Smash G's campaign against Kotaku gained traction, Alyssa decided to go full lawyer-up mode, because what better way to handle criticism than threatening legal action against a YouTuber?
And you can suck me from the back for free.
Her meltdown started when another YouTuber, Master of TDS, pointed out her blatant hypocrisy. Alyssa was furious that people were looking into her past, despite her doing the exact same thing to others. She ranted on X about how someone registered her sister's domain name and reached out for comment on her actions. She called it harassment, but when she dug into Smash JT's personal life and contacted his wife, that was apparently totally fine. Master of the TDS simply called her out, saying, "So it's only okay when Alyssa does it. If anyone else does, it's harassment."
Not had to scrub my information from the internet.
Sure.
Didn't have to remind my father to reload his gun in case anyone shows up at his house.
One of those years.
Yeah, just a totally, completely normal year of being a woman on the internet and gaming.
The usual I'm the victim routine. Because when the internet stops agreeing with her, she panics. After Kotaku Detected, the website dedicated to exposing Kotaku's biases, was taken down, Alyssa Mercante immediately took to social media to celebrate her victory. She acted as if this was some kind of personal win, gloating over the website's removal and taking jabs at its creators. But then, something hilarious happened. The site got restored. And suddenly, Alyssa did a complete 180-degree turn. She claimed that the website actually helps her and that she didn't mind it being up after all. It was a textbook damage control attempt. She couldn't admit that the site being restored was a blow to her, so she pretended like it was part of her master plan all along. It was yet another example of her shifting narratives to fit whatever made her look like the winner in any given situation.
I mean, when I wake up at 5:45, because my kids are absolutely crazy, the first thing I do is check this woman's tweets.
Yep.
It's usually ass. Sorry.
After the Kotaku Detected website was restored, Alyssa Mercante went full keyboard warrior mode and decided to challenge people on X, formerly Twitter, to a fight. Yes, instead of engaging in any kind of meaningful discussion or self-reflection, she literally resorted to challenging YouTubers to a physical fight, because that's totally a normal and rational response.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Enter Vara Dark, known for her no-nonsense attitude and willingness to call out gaming industry hypocrisy, saw Alyssa's challenge and accepted. While it was obviously a joke on Alyssa's part, the fact that someone actually took her up on it made her immediately start backpedaling. This was yet another classic example of Alyssa's behavior. She loves to dish it out, but the second someone pushes back, she plays the victim card or pretends she wasn't serious.
She clearly just wanted to beat somebody up and be able to prove she's a tough guy, but Keemstar actually had made a tweet saying, "Dear Alyssa and Veridark, Happy Punch will help you set up your fight," and instantly, only minutes after he posted this, she said, I'm not giving you any money, thanks. So she straight away declined this major opportunity. So she instantly backed down because she didn't want it streamed to my, quote, bigot fans. Then, of course, Keemstar, someone who's reputable and has set up fights before on a professional level, offered, and she said no way. So I asked Alyssa, do you have some kind of connections to set up an event like this? No, Keemstar does though, but she refused. She didn't want this to happen, backing down instantly. And then, of course, after a bunch of time and kind of back and forth messages, her trying to act all tough, showing her muscles, saying things like she doesn't even need to train, she decided to block me yet again. And keep in mind, she had unblocked me for a short amount of time to talk and respond. And then she blocked me again. She absolutely has no backbone whatsoever. She is a mentally unstable nut job. Only nut jobs do blocking, then unblocking, blocking, then unblocking. But she actually also decided to allude to a street fight. Even just with the little bit of information I've already told you, you can tell that she is an absolute lunatic.
Senior editor at Kotaku wants to beat me up. Who do you guys think I could beat up in the games industry, and why is it the quartering? I'd say she's relatively fit. I'd say, good for her. I'd still fight her, though, because I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist, and so I accept your fight, Alyssa. Oh, you went, what? What? All I did was accept the fight and she blocked me?
And I don't shut the fuck up.
Yep. Failing to take legal action against Smash JT, Alyssa Mercante went for another tactic, trying to get him cancelled. She passive-aggressively attempted to get him banned from San Diego Comic-Con by tagging the event's official account and implying that he was some kind of threat. Her post was clearly an attempt to pressure the organisers into taking action against him, but it didn't work. She also straight up lied about him. In her social media posts, she claimed that he called her a whore, which Smash JT immediately debunked. He pointed out that this was libel and clarified that he had only ever referred to her as a former cam girl, which is something she herself has openly admitted to.
Because I did briefly do cam work, just like digitally stripping. What I did, briefly do cam work, just like digitally stripping.
Alyssa Mercante took things to a whole new level when she mocked the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Instead of condemning the violence, she made light of the situation, showing once again that she has no problem pushing extreme narratives as long as they align with her views. This level of blatant disregard for political violence only further cemented her reputation as a divisive and unhinged activist.
We don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Alyssa Mercante stirred up yet another controversy when she played dumb and shifted blame onto Mark Kern.
And I don't shut the fuck up.
Yep. Alyssa Mercante sparked outrage when she labeled Japanese people as racist for criticizing Assassin's Creed Shadows for historical inaccuracies. Specifically, the inclusion of a black samurai protagonist. Many Japanese gamers pointed out that while Yasuke, the historical figure, did exist, his role in Japanese history was greatly exaggerated for the sake of Western narratives. Instead of addressing these concerns, Mercante dismissed them as racism, igniting backlash from both Japanese and Western audiences. When faced with criticism, she deflected blame onto Mark Kern, acting as if he was responsible for the outrage rather than her own inflammatory remarks. In June, ex-Engineer had posted about her gaming industry experience, claiming to have worked on Ori and the Will of the Wisps and other projects. However, when Marla responded, he pointed out that Shinjinyu had never worked on the game, stating, "I'm the director behind both Ori games, and I don't know who you are or how you were affiliated with Ori." She deleted the post, likely to avoid further embarrassment after being caught making an unsubstantiated claim. He went on to clarify that she had never engaged with anyone at Moon Studios and warned her to always be respectful online. As Marla corrected the false claim, Alyssa Mercante chose to intervene, launching a verbal attack on Marla by calling him a dickhead.
And you can suck me from the back for free.
Marla initially responded with confusion, stating, "I don't know who you are," before Mercante reminded him that she worked for Kotaku.
And I gotta say, the single best thing that has happened to Kotaku is Alyssa Mercante coming and gracing us with her presence and making the site better and stronger in every way.
Don't fuck with me right now, man. I'm very weak and I'll cry. Just pretending to be strong.
The outlet that had previously published a hit piece against Moon Studios and Marla in 2022. In response, Marla provided an educational breakdown of the creative process behind video game development, explaining the complexities of building a game and the collaborative nature of such projects. He elaborated on how passionate, talented people working together sometimes lead to arguments, but the outcome is often a consensus-driven solution where the best ideas win. He also discussed the normality of change in development, where initial decisions are sometimes revised after testing. Marla continued by acknowledging that some of the negative press surrounding Moon Studios could stem from former employees who didn't fit the company's culture. Despite the criticisms, Marla stood by his approach to leadership and the creative process, explaining that it's not always smooth, but ultimately results in a better product. Instead of backing down, Mercante persisted in her attack, but Marla remained professional, signing off with a final line. "I hope you have a nice day. Yours, dickhead." Despite her efforts to discredit him, Marla's response remained composed, offering a rare example of a game director standing firm against media critics who lack first-hand experience in the field.
I am their kryptonite.
Yes.
I am smart, hot, slutty, good at my job.
Alyssa Mercante, the former senior editor at Kotaku, announced her departure from the outlet after 2 years of service, framing it as a decision to move on to better opportunities. In her farewell post on X, she expressed gratitude for the Kotaku editorial team, praising their commitment to maintaining the outlet's journalistic integrity amid increasing pressures. Mercante stated, "I am eternally grateful for Kotaku's editorial team and all that they taught me during my time there. They are some of the best in the business, and I will be forever proud to have shared a masthead with them." She added, "It's been a long few months, during which I've learned a lot about myself and my value as both a woman and a writer. This is the right decision for me." However, the narrative she presented was far from straightforward. Despite framing her exit as a voluntary career move, Mercante's departure came amid a wave of layoffs at Kotaku. In a later post, she claimed that her decision to leave was made prior to the announcement of these layoffs. This has led to speculation, particularly from YouTuber Hypnotic, who predicted that Mercante's next career move might involve transitioning into a DEI, Diversity, Equity and Inclusion consulting role with Sweet Baby Inc., SBI. Hypnotic pointed out that Mercante had previously defended SBI and its CEO Kim Belair in a controversial piece earlier in the year. Mercante's connection to SBI became even more apparent after she shared that she was now at Compulsion Games, a Montreal-based studio. Coincidentally, Sweet Baby Inc. is also based in Montreal, and the two companies have been linked in recent months, as SBI is consulting on Compulsion's upcoming project, South of Midnight. This has only fueled further speculation that Mercante might be joining SBI, particularly given her history of defending the company and its approach to wokeness in the gaming industry.
People in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.
Despite claiming to uphold journalistic integrity in her farewell message, Mercante's career at Kotaku was marred by a number of controversies. One of the most notable incidents occurred when she defended Sweet Baby Inc., a company that was accused of attempting to harass a Brazilian gamer, Cabrutus Rambo, and shut down his Steam curator list. Mercante's coverage of SBI omitted crucial facts, painting the company as a victim and downplaying their alleged involvement in harassment tactics. Her defense of Sweet Baby Inc. contrasted with CEO Kim Belair's 2019 statement at the Game Developers Conference, where she advocated for using social media cancel mobs to pressure game studios into adopting wokeness. Belair had famously said, "If you're creative working in AAA, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want." Mercante's departure from Kotaku also followed her ongoing clash with members of the gaming community. Over the course of her tenure, she became a polarizing figure, particularly when it came to her views on the gaming industry and its relationship with diversity and inclusion. Mercante had repeatedly faced backlash for her criticism of gamers who pushed back against the increasing influence of wokeness in gaming. Her frequent clashes with fans and YouTubers, including her public attempts to challenge figures like Mark Kern, did little to endear her to a growing segment of the gaming community. Following her departure, Mercante sought to spin the narrative, suggesting that leaving Kotaku was a personal decision and an opportunity to move on to a better job. However, for many, this shift came off as a way to distance herself from the increasingly negative attention she had received in recent months. Whether her next career step involves continuing her work in media, diving into DEI consulting, or aligning herself further with Sweet Baby Inc., only time will tell. But her departure from Kotaku, framed as a voluntary career move, raises more questions than answers, especially considering the context of her tumultuous final months at the company. For the best of the game industry, I hope this will be the last time we hear from Alyssa Mercante. Throughout her time in the gaming media, she managed to damage the reputation of both games and the artists who create them with her controversial posts and actions, whether through her attempts to cancel industry figures, her defense of questionable companies, or her unrelenting push for wokeness in the gaming world. Mercante's influence has been nothing short of divisive. Her departure from Kotaku may mark the end of her role in the industry, but the damage she caused will likely remain for some time. Thank you for watching.
Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.